Hey, boys and girls, I'm getting ready to write a 2.6 paragraph about the preamble to the Constitution. So, just a quick refresher, there are two important details in my paragraph, and there will be 6 sentences total. And here are the 6 sentences. You'll start with an introduction, then you'll give your first important detail, you'll explain your first important detail, give your second big detail, explain your second detail, and then we'll finish with an ending sentence, which will give us 6 sentences. So if you're not sure if you've finished, then you'll want to count your periods and make sure that you have 6 periods to show you that you have 6 sentences. That's just one way you can check it. Okay, so we'll start off with an introduction sentence. That just tells you what this paragraph is going to be about. Now, I'm just going to jot down some notes. This isn't a complete sentence yet, but for my introduction, I'll tell my audience that I'm going to be writing about the preamble. I'll put it into a sentence later. My first detail about the preamble comes from yesterday's assignment. So you may want to open this guy back up, Parts of the Constitution, and you can look at what you wrote about each of the 3 parts. So for the preamble, here were my 2 sentences. The preamble is the introduction. It tells what Americans value. So look, I can even copy and paste because this detail is already in a complete sentence. So I'm going to copy and paste. There's my first detail. It's the introduction. Now, I do have a second detail, but first, let's give an explanation about detail 1. Detail 1 said the preamble is the introduction. So I'll just add a little bit about how it tells why the Constitution was written. So I'll put that into a complete sentence here in a minute, but that's just going to give me some more information about my first detail. Now, detail sentence 2, I can go back to yesterday's notes and look right here. It tells what Americans value. Copy and paste, it's already a complete sentence. Paste, okay. Now I need an explanation about detail 2. So what is it that Americans value? We could just give some examples. For example, we value freedom, justice, and peace. I'll turn that into a complete sentence here in just a minute. Now, my ending sentence is going to be very similar to my introduction sentence. I'm just going to kind of restate it for the most part. So it's also going to say something about how this paragraph was all about the preamble. All right, now I've got my ideas for my 6 sentences. Now I just need to type them into one paragraph. So what I'm going to do, hopefully you can see this okay. I'm going to open up another text box and just type into it side by side so that I can see my notes, my ideas from earlier. All right, now remember, every sentence needs to start with a capital letter, needs to end with some punctuation. And when we write paragraphs, there's a little something special we do called indent. Now, when we do this on paper, I usually tell my students to put 2 fingers on their paper and then start writing. It leaves a little space. But what I'm going to do on the computer is I'm just going to press the tab button. And do you see how it moved my cursor from the edge? I scooched it in a little bit. That's called indenting. Nothing major, but just something to keep in mind. Okay, so we're ready to start our paragraph with my introduction sentence, something about the preamble. So let me make that a complete sentence. The first part of the Constitution is called the preamble, period. All right, so it's got a subject, the first part, and a predicate. Remember, is a verb. All right, and a period. Just going to give 2 spaces and go on straight into my next sentence. The preamble is the introduction. Period. Next sentence is an explanation about detail 1. Tells why the Constitution was written. So all I need to do to turn that into a complete sentence is just give it a subject. I don't really need to say the preamble again. I can just call it. It tells why the Constitution was written, period. Now I'm ready for detail 2. It tells what Americans value. Don't forget to capitalize Americans. Now I need to make this into a complete sentence. Freedom, justice, and peace. For example, we value freedom, justice, and peace. Period. Now, it's time for the ending sentence. Remember, it was going to be something very similar to the introduction. The first part of the Constitution is called the preamble. I don't want to repeat that exactly. That would be kind of lame. But I am going to mention something just about the preamble. So how about this is why the preamble is important, period. All right, now I'm not just going to click turn in. I'm going to reread what I wrote, and you need to do the same. The first part of the Constitution is called the preamble. The preamble is the introduction. It tells why the Constitution was written. It tells what Americans value. For example, we value freedom, justice, and peace. This is why the preamble is important. Okay, so double check that you have 6 sentences. You've got all of the main ingredients to our paragraph, and we've got punctuation and capitals, all that good stuff. So there's your first example of 2.6 paragraph. Now, for today's assignment, you don't have to write a whole one. I've already started one, but I've left a few things blank. So pay close attention to make sure that there's an introduction sentence, first main detail, and an explanation of it. Second main detail, explanation of it, and an ending sentence. Good luck!